Okay, copy constructors and memberwise copy. To demonstrate that, we're going to look at our time class again. And as I said in the video lecture, for classes involving primitive types and class objects, there's a default implementation of a copy constructor and of a memberwise copy operator. So you actually don't need to implement one of those. These copy operations are there for you to use. Now we will need to implement our own copy constructor and memberwise copy operator when we start talking about self-referential classes. So here's a demonstration of how we can use our copy constructors. And to make a copy, to use the copy constructor, I declare a time object, and now instead of passing in the individual values for the private data member, I simply pass in a constructed time object, in this case T1. So this is using the copy constructor. Now this will make a perfect copy of T1 into T2. So when I execute this program, I will see 712 printed twice. So compile, run, and there's my output. How do I know that these are truly distinct copies? Well, one thing I can do is I can make a change to one of the copies. And so what I should see here is, so if these are not distinct copies and I'm changing the same object, then I should see 812 printed twice. If these are distinct copies, I should see 712 and then 812. And this gets at the issue of the difference between a shallow copy and a deep copy. We'll get into that, no pun intended, we'll get into that much more deeply when we start talking about self-referential classes. So if I run this and these are distinct copies, I should see different output, and that's what I have. So these really are physically distinct copies in memory. You could also look at the address of these objects and you would see that they're different. So let me put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Another way that we can make a copy of an object is using, at the time of construction, the memberwise copy operator. This will make a copy of T1 into T3. So again, when I run this, I'm going to see 3 copies of the same thing. And finally, if I have an object that I've constructed, maybe I've used it. In fact, maybe what I'll do here is I'll just put in some values to show you that the memberwise copy operator overwrites the existing values. So if I print T4 here, and then I print it again, but in between these two statements, I am going to assign T1's value to T4. So now what I should see here is I should get 712 from this print statement. I should get 712 from this print statement, 712 from this print statement. Now when I print T4, I should see 1532, and then by virtue of this assignment, I should again see 712. So let's compile that and run it, and you can see that the assignment or the memberwise copy operation overwrote the previous values. So this illustrates all the different ways that we can construct or copy an object from another object.